his ideas. I thought I could make a theme out of this, so I did this in the past. I talked about a few figures in the public figures, and what I thought about them, maybe their art, maybe some of the things they said. And I wanted to do that with this individual because, his thoughts around me, his ideas are very, I like them, I resonate with them. So, this individual is called Gabor Mate. It's a doctor, a psychologist, and he basically, I think the first thing that caught me, one of the first ideas that caught my attention were, the link between stress and disease. And I very much, I think it's completely logical what he says. I think you can see it everywhere, and I think everyone can, you don't have to be a doctor or a psychologist, and it's something very human that actually you yourself feel, without looking at anyone else. I think you can sense that if you are very stressed, you get sick. But here's the catch: most people don't even know they're stressed. I didn't for a very long time. I noticed that I was stressed for a big part of my life when I really, as I was going through my depression, actually, which was now almost 2 years back, which was a great time. Absolutely great, amazing. I learned so much in that time about myself and therefore the universe. And I got out of that rut by, it has to be said, finding my language of my own spirituality. I know this is, for each their own. You're gonna find, you can have yours, I can have mine, it's completely fine. That's really what I believe. I think the best teachers in these regards say that, don't get hung up on rules or, the semantics and stuff like that. If you don't resonate with it, keep searching. Or don't, whatever. Maybe find it in the work you do. Just looking up into the clouds and going, wow. Anyway, I found out that I was stressed when I wasn't stressed for a very long time. It was a moment in my depression where I thought, fuck it, whatever comes, like sort of this, I'm gonna quit my job. I had some savings, not a lot, but some, and I thought, like, I'm just gonna move somewhere else. I'm just gonna, find something else. I don't have a plan. I don't know what to do, but I need to do something because this isn't working. And then I found out through this sort of resting phase, it was really a year where, in the eyes of the job market, or probably in the eyes of many people, I wasn't doing anything, but I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot of, I did some writing, even, as I was going out of that depression, I did a lot of writing. But I did a lot of real work, on myself, and just sort of just getting to know myself better, It's weird that so many people, they, here, I think this is a good time to introduce my trigger. It's a verse, and there's money in it. I think a lot of people want to see results like this when they talk about, productivity. But sometimes I can't show you anything physical other than, I guess this video and, proof that I'm doing well, that I did some work in this time, because I really wasn't doing well in that time. But I did a lot, I rested and I de-stressed, I said, everything that came up that stressed stressed me, I just said, fuck it. And this purse was empty by the end of the year, I can tell you that. Now it's fine. Now it's fine again. Can you hear? Lots of coins. Oh, sorry. So, anyway, yeah, and then I found out, man, oh man, I was on stress, for a very long time, and that's not healthy. And now I'm really getting a handle on things, stress related. That I'm not that harsh to myself anymore. And well, that's linked to a lot of what Gabor Mate said about stress and these things, which is, if I remember correctly, it's sort of you have to first of all realize what you're, it goes to what I just said. Many people don't realize that they're stressed, and why? Because the world makes it very normal to be stressed. You have to realize how really crazy the world is, and I don't mean it in a purely negative sense, I mean, clearly, we got a lot going for it, I mean, we have all these tech gadgets and stuff. I mean, they're good and bad, of course, but we made great technological advances, even medical ones, and although that's also, I think we lost something in this very materialistic view of medicine, namely, food. I think we decoupled food and medicine too much, and I mean, man, yeah, you can go into some really bad things we did with this blind materialism. But anyway, let's keep on an equal, like, I mean, we got the standards of living got really, I mean, there's running water everywhere, your poop gets flushed down the toilet, the great invention. You can't even, I mean, that's really, think about it, if you have to take that out by yourself every day, I mean, that's a great advancement. Yeah, stuff like that. So, but there's we certainly paid a price, and we don't really realize that, I think we could do a lot better if we realize what sort of price we pay for it, and we could slow down in many regards now. We made great advancements now. Rail it back in, is that what you say? I think so, yeah. At least in my opinion, in some cases you could make a case for that. And yeah, you have to, he had this great analogy by which is this short poem. I think he got it from the writer of David Foster Wallace, who said it in his, I think, Oxford Address, or I may be wrong with that, but he told this small story about these two young fish. These two young fish were swimming in the ocean, and behind them an older fish came up and said, "Hey, hello, how is the water?" And the two young fish looked at each other, and and then they turned back and said, "What the fuck is water?" Or "What the hell is water?" I'm saying too many F-bombs. At least for YouTube standards, I guess. Anyway, yeah, they turned back and said, "What the hell is water?" Which is the meaning of the story. If you're totally surrounded by it, you can't see what what's right in front of you, you know. It sort of becomes so, you're too close to it to recognize it. So yeah, that's the problem with a lot of this stuff, that we don't even recognize the pressure that modern society puts on us. So if you recognize that, that's a bit of a bummer at first, you know, that's a bit of a wow, you know, and all these examples I gave, you know, about medical advancements or food and stuff. There are some really dark avenues you can explore there. I mean, glyphosates, for example, terrible. All these pesticides that we homogenized food, which in turn homogenizes or threatens to homogenize our microbiome, which is like this huge. Did I talk about that? Did I make a video about that? I don't think so. Maybe I did. I will. If I didn't, maybe it was the last one. Anyway, but our microbiome is a health center for our body. You know, it doesn't mean that you can heal everything with it, but certainly a lot. I think that was my last video. Anyway, yeah, lots of stuff is happening. You know, don't take it personally if I don't. You know, whatever. All of this stuff. You know, this materialist thing that's driving so much of our science is really hurting us. But, you know, hey, that's the first step. You're recognizing that we're in deep shit in a lot of things. Not all, you know, don't be too cynical about stuff. There's a lot of stuff we do great on. I can't think of one right now, but anyway, there are. Yeah, and if you recognize that, if you say, okay, and actually do what I do, take a big breath in and just relax a bit, because look back into history. We were at these crossroads many a times, and there are stories from the past. I actually, right now, I came across this Japanese, these were like, the symbol were these three monkeys, and there's a monkey that holds its mouth, there's a monkey that holds its ears, there's a monkey that holds its eyes, you know, the hands in front of the eyes. So, you know, not hearing, not speaking, not seeing. And this was sort of a symbol for, if this is happening, if you can see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, then great evil is upon us. I don't want to be too much doom and gloom, although I recognize this is very much gloomy and doomy. But recognize it. Okay, yeah, these times are sort of, you know, I can see the parallels. It's sort of brewing in that manner, you know. Censorship in many ways around many subjects that should be discussed, you know. People turn a blind eye to many subjects, which, I mean, it's fine, and we're sort of in this onslaught of ideas, you know, it's fine. But again, it's not all that. It's not all that. It's not, we're not really, I mean, we're a bit, yeah, I can't help but think about the zombie analogy. We're sort of slumping right now. We're sort of a bit dragging behind of where we should be, you know. We should be at the edge of problems and issues and really discuss them, especially my generation, the generation after me. I mean, every generation, really. But, yeah, to come back to what Gabor Mate says, you know, yeah, recognize these crazy times, and then just think about just maybe, you know, take this alchemical view, or, you know, he doesn't use these words, but you can do a lot with just shifting certain habits, or recognizing, like, for example, Gabor Mate had like this addictive behavior of buying classical music. Now, that's a weird addiction, you might say, but I think every addiction is weird. But he recognized, like, what he wanted to sort of, he wanted to acquire this wealth, this, you know, sort of really sort of intellectualized it, but also like felt it, like he really made a deep dive, just like I did in my depression of, hey, what do I think is missing, or look at the addiction, look at what the addiction is doing, or is giving you, what it's doing positively, and then sort of reflect on that, and that can help you, see it in a different light and sort of not see yourself as someone who's doing wrong, or who's a bad person, or stuff like that. And that's just the same with these times. Don't look at it just like bad times. It's very logical times, actually. If you look at many issues that we have, it's like, yeah, of course, very human. Not all dark and bad and mean, just like a bit dumb, and silly maybe, and all of that, but very human. It has a human core to it, everything, all of this. The bad and the good, Anyway, yeah, I'm doing a bit of a trigger. I did go off the rails maybe a bit with the addiction stuff. The police is coming. Let's hide behind the trigger. I talked about addiction. Maybe they don't want that. That's actually, yeah, very important that we get away from that stigma. People that are addicted need help, not more punishment. Anyway. And they often want help. That's why they're addicted. That's what they're seeking in this addiction. And that's often caused by these crazy times, or, childhood trauma and stuff. And yeah, which is all stress in the end. I like these ideas. And I like his approach that, you shouldn't repress that. You shouldn't sort of try to slay it, conquer it. Just give it a hug, give it a hug, talk it out. I really like that, and it's in very stark contrast to another very famous psychologist, therapist, that many of you, probably everyone, have heard of, which is Jordan Peterson. And actually, Gabor Mate, really, I think he hates him. I think he hates Jordan Peterson. I don't. I disagree with a lot he says, and also with what Gabor Mate always, when he talks about Jordan Peterson, he talks about this. He said once that a crying child should be put in the corner and, stop crying, or you can't enter the room. Go into the corner. You're not in society right now in that corner. And once you stop crying, you're allowed into society. And I think that is a fatal error. And Gabor Mate very eloquently says so as well, because you're telling the child that it is not acceptable to show emotions that are sort of out of the ordinary, like crying, or anger, stuff like that. That really should be just channeled right. You shouldn't repress them. And I actually do see some of that repression in some of the talks of Jordan Peterson. But that said, I don't think all of what he says is, he gave some great interviews, and he has some really great thoughts on things as well, and clearly they helped people, a lot of people. I know many that got something out of it, and I did as well. But I have to say, over time, I sort of detached myself a bit from those ideas, because they just had a very, very harsh ring to it, like a very, make it or go fuck yourself, these F-bombs out. Oh, this world in this video. Anyway, you know what I mean. That F-bomb was necessary. I actually don't like calling them F-bombs. What the fuck? I can say the F word whenever I want to, and I don't have to call it the F word. Anyway, that's sort of the point of Gabor Mate. Let it out, but channel it. Don't hurt anyone, I mean, there's healthy anger. If someone really is mean to you, you can say, hey, up until this point and no further. Or if you're really sad, I had this with a lot of kids in my group, actually. I let them cry. I let them be angry. Hey, you wanna kick that pillow over there? Go for it. Go for it. And after a while they get out of it, and then I can talk to them, and then it's resolved, or it feels resolved. And yeah, I think Gabor Mate is right with that. But I mean, I had this kid today that sort of spiraled down in this crying loop. I mean, it really was. I mean, I had to laugh at one point because it was just so, it got ridiculous, I mean, it was a mean joke. Two girls played a mean joke and they said we're not friends anymore, and then she cried. That was basically the, whatever. It wasn't a joke, it was just like this silly thing kids do, and she cried so hard. Snot was really drooling out of her nose, and it was everywhere, and she says, I don't have any friends anymore. And I thought, that was just, look, they're playing already, they don't even know what they're saying, they're 6, 7 years old. Get it together, I mean, I didn't say that, but I said, yeah, let's cry, but let's go to the bathroom, clean your face up, because it gets really wild now. I mean, there's snot everywhere. And as we went to the bathroom, she cleaned herself, but couldn't stop crying. It was this loop, And then my colleague came by and said, hey, what's going on? Because everyone heard her crying, And then she went in and said, okay, no, stop now, stop now. And that was really good. And I think that was sort of like, yeah, I think, that's a bit of Jordan Peterson in there, and a bit of Gabor Mate, and I think they're actually, maybe on two polar opposites, but they're in many ways the same. So, yeah, I don't know, just the way they give their talks, they're very intuitive about that. They don't plan ahead that much, and they actually agree in a lot of stuff. If you, I mean, they never had a discussion as far as I know, but they talk about similar things often, and you can spot the things, that they agree on, and yeah, I think I think they could be really good friends, but I think Jordan Peterson can learn something from Gabor Mate. So anyway, if you find yourself only listening to Jordan Peterson, maybe give yourself a dose of Gabor Mate. Try it out. Let's see, see if it resonates. I found myself gravitating right now very much towards his ideas, Gabor's. Not discarding, again, Jordan's, but yeah, let's see how it goes,